So, anyways, great to meet you guys. I did want to focus this time though, being able to better hear Allie's story. So I'm actually kind of making my rounds with all the Schnacky crew. Last
Ooh,
week, I got to hear Colby's story, and I'm not gonna lie, the whole time I was fighting tears hearing Colby's story. Same thing with Austin. Like, I love those guys. I'm so excited to hear Allie. Actually, I'll be also hearing from Carol right after this too in 20 minutes. But I'm so excited to hear Noah's and everyone else's kind of backstory. And then next time I go live with each one of them, I'm going to be sharing my story as well. So the fact that you guys have just been in the faith for a while, I want to hear what the Lord has been doing in your lives. And so, and just first off, I guess Allie, I want to ask you, like, so were you guys, you weren't born in Orlando, were you? Where did everything
I
start?
was born in Orlando. Noah was
Okay.
born in Minnesota.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Wait, so how did you guys end up in Orlando? And then I guess from there, what did childhood, what did coming to the faith, what did all that look like?
Man, I think that my parents might have gone to school down here.
Mhm.
Like my mom used to go to MOA, which is in Minnesota. But then I think like she like transferred here for her job or for something. And my whole family ended up down here except for my uncle who still lives in Minnesota. So like my grandparents, aunts, like everybody is in Florida. Because we all like the heat, we all like the beach, and Minnesota doesn't really have that. You know what I mean? We're not
Yeah.
really snow shovelers, but don't hate on me, guys. I will come visit you guys if you guys live in the snow. Because I think Christmas is fun.
Yeah, so as far as yeah, you guys I guess moving to Orlando, I remember Noah talking about how you guys lived in a very different situation than you do now. So what was that like growing up and what did that look like, I guess,
Oh,
for your family situation?
so y'all don't understand. Okay, if you guys watch our content, y'all know you really don't. A lot of people actually really don't know who's related and who's not because we're all so close. And so when we first started social media, it was so rough because even now, if I post videos with Austin Renji, people are like, "Isn't that your brother?" And I'm like, "No, it's not my brother. Like, what in the world?" And same like Colby's situation because he's my brother, but he's not like biological. Like,
Uh,
it's we all kind of live out of the same house right now, but it wasn't always like that. We all have our own rooms now, and like God's provided like my dad's dream house to him because of like his faith. And like before, it was not like that. We lived in a very, very small house, like not even
yeah.
really that long ago. We didn't move here until like maybe 2017, but our
Oh
house
wow.
was so tiny. It literally had but I loved it. I love small houses because I love to be around family because I just love family so much. So it was
Yeah.
like Noah's room, my room, a little tiny bathroom, my parents' room, and then their office. And in their office was my sister's bunk bed. And that was like literally like, and then we had like the kitchen, the living room, the dining room. That was like literally our house, like all
Dang.
of us. But it wasn't just us that like lived in that house. It was my aunt Jody, her daughter Amira, and Colby at one point, and my
Wow.
grandparents at one point. So ever since like our small little house, we've kind of just been an open revolving door for people to come in because a lot of why we started social media was because we wanted to expand our family, which is why we call ourselves the Shinaki family and we call you guys our family and our friends because truly to us, we believe that like we are all family. Like that's what we are. Like we want to take people in that like need a place to belong, need a place to be loved and include them in our lives and hopefully now in our virtual house. I know it's like
Yeah.
impossible for everyone to be here, but we've always had an open door policy just to love on people that God brings into our lives. And so we're hoping that this next season with Renji being like the head of the number one metaverse like thing in the world, like God can just use those gifts and just create a space and a home for people all across the world, you know?
Yeah. Wow. So in I guess in that household, like obviously Lance, your dad, and Noah and your mom, all of you are very and your sisters as well. It was really cool hearing uh Ella at that Bible study sharing what the Lord put on our heart. But like all of you are believers in the faith, which by the way, that's a huge blessing. Like many families are broken just because they don't really have each individual who are in the faith. So first off, like what is your story? How did you come to the faith? When's the first time you decide to give your life to God and all of that? What did that look like?
So I would say from a young age, I had a heart for the Lord just because I had seen how real he was to my parents.
Hmm.
So it always kind of like intrigued me. I was always growing up in church, but it really wasn't until I was maybe 16 when I went to an FCA camp, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I was not an athlete. I am very not. And somehow I was convinced to go to this camp. And at this camp, I just felt God for the first time touch me, speak to me specifically, um, tell me that like his plans are not only for the people that I love, but also for me. Because I'm gonna be honest, like growing up, my brother was in social media and I wasn't. I really wanted nothing to do with it. And it's a complete God thing that I'm on social media now. And I'm just so blessed to be able to connect with so many people in the world. And I just love what God's doing. But back then, before 2020, I don't want to be on social media. I like to live in the moment. And growing up, people would compare me a lot to my brother because of a number on a screen. And so it was really, really hard to not let that affect my relationship with God because when people are constantly speaking that you're lesser than over you, you feel like that's how God feels about you too sometimes. And that his blessings aren't for you. But that is a total lie. And when God finally at that camp revealed that to me, and it completely changed my life. That's why I started my ministry like chosen and free. Because when you realize you're chosen by God, that means that you're selected as the best option. That's what being chosen means. You're not like you don't have to compare yourself to another person because you know his plans that he has for you are individual to you. You're chosen as the best option. And somebody else's dream, somebody else's callings aren't going to fulfill you because God has a specific one to meet your desires.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much how that happened. And God's just escalated and grown my faith. There's been high seasons, low seasons. I went on a Brazil mission trip. I actually don't think Renji knows this, but before quarantine, I actually felt called to do ministry in Brazil, and I really wanted to move there. I really wanted
Wow.
to move there, and my family was kind of all over the place. My dad and Noah were traveling in Europe doing like tour. My mom was always my sister's a dance. I wanted to move to Brazil. Like we were all just dispersed. And when I was on that Brazil trip, I've never encountered God so tangibly in my entire life. It changed my life forever. And when I came back and quarantine started and they sent me back home from Brazil, I was crushed. I was like,
Uh,
God, why did you do this? Like, why did you like put my desire in front of me and then take it away? But it's because God had such greater plans than I could ever ask, think, or imagine. I would have never been doing what I'm doing now. Had I stayed in Brazil, my family wouldn't be together. And you guys, like, that are on here, Renji, like, this wouldn't have been here, you know?
yeah.
So God had bigger plans to make a family worldwide.
So what did you say the ministry that you are now leading that you started? What is it called again?
Chosen and free.
Chosen and Free. So I guess like how did you? What was the inspiration to start that? What was the goal of it? And how's that been going?
It's honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So I started it back in 2020 when social media first started because my heart behind starting social media was, okay, God, I am longing for community so bad. I've always struggled to make friends, and I'm going to be that for everyone that needs it.
Hmm.
And I always have had a burden on my heart because of the comparison that I went through. And because when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And people would always pressure me, like, everyone was going to college. Like, what are you going to do, Allie? What are you going to do? And I didn't know? And because of that, I decided, I was like, you know what? God has a greater purpose. And it might not make sense to the world, but once God revealed that purpose to me, I was like, thank God I didn't like listen to what everyone else said. Not that college is bad. I think that everyone has a specific calling, and they look different. But I decided that, I mean, I grew up doing Bible studies forever. Ministry's always just been what I've wanted to do. Always. I felt God, like, He's like revealed to me images when I was like young of like pouring into girls. And so it's always been a huge desire of my heart. But during quarantine, I really did have that longing for community and to speak purpose in life into girls all around the world and unite them. Number one, because during quarantine, the suicide rates were an all time high because people were so lonely. And like, I even lost a couple of friends to that during quarantine. It broke my heart so much. Like I needed to do something about it, you know? So I
Mm.
started this community in hopes to, like, bring girls together so that we could not be like the rest of the world, like girls tearing each other down, jealous of one another, but to actually lift each other up, find our own unique callings, help each other figure out what those are, encourage each other in them, and ultimately just breathe life over each other, you know?
Mm. So does it look like a is it like a Bible study that you're doing weekly, or like what does the rhythms of that look like?
Yeah. So when it first started, it was we did monthly Bible studies over Zoom, just during quarantine, monthly Bible studies. Um, Last year and kind of the beginning of this year, I've kind of had to take a step back so that I could build the website out because I want the roots to grow deep, you know? But
Mm.
we have an Instagram page called Chosen and Free that's just full
Mm.
of just truth and life and community, and we do Bible studies on the Bible app still, like through that, so that there's still something. But on August 5th, I haven't told anybody this yet, but I'm going to do it right now.
Uh,
On August, we are starting our this thing called Chosen Nights at our church Calvary in Orlando. So it's going to be a night where girls just come, fellowship, pray over each other, eat together, have a good time, and I'm super excited to form real community in person with that, you know. And
wow,
hopefully
that's so
maybe
awesome.
the metaverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be so awesome to be able to bridge the two together. Yeah, I guess I was going to ask, like, what is the hope longer term? Like, obviously, you want to bring hope to and community and family to a lot of people who don't have it. And so, I guess, like, if God were to bless this and it were to be fruitful, like, what does that look like? Do you see like people hosting this in multiple cities? Like, what does that look like over the course of time?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a hard time because I can see God doing so much that like I'm so careful to not write the end of his story, you know? But what's so cool to me about this is that God is connecting us worldwide. Like through social media and the gift that he's given us of that, he's connecting us all worldwide to the point where like I'd like to come out with a study and like teach girls how to be leaders, how to start their own, because to me it's not oh my ministry, it's like God is bringing us together and we're going to like impact this world with truth and purpose. But another thing that I'm really passionate about is uncovering identity and then going into the hurt places and uncovering identity. I feel
Mm.
like a lot of times people stick to their crowd and they don't really, you know, go into the dark places or go into the scary places and help, you know, be the hands and feet of Jesus. So I really
Mm.
hope that like us, the community all around the world, we are going on missions trips, but not only that, like starting in our cities and figuring out like, okay, now that I know who I am, how do I go into this place and teach them who they are through Christ or
Mm.
like help them find that, you know?
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, and it really is just a reflection of like how you were able to observe your parents' faith, and like for you, like, and then you kind of just seeing different people in your family coming to the faith as well, and you giving your life to Jesus. It's really just other people also observing you on your platform, and then them doing the same. It's really, really cool. So I guess sort of longer term, like as more and more people, obviously through this ministry, Lord willing, come to the faith. Someone just said, "How do I dream?" I don't know. The Lord will give you dreams. As more people, Lord willing, come to the faith through this, like how does the rest of the Schnacky family play a role in this as well? Like, does Noah help out? Does Austin help out? Does Lance like are they also involved with this as well?
Well, I think God has connected us all for such a purpose. I mean, I think we're all one body, right? So
Yeah.
who what God has in store? I know me, like I pray that this thing just grows out of control to where
Yeah.
like we're having to meet in big places or like different ministries are coming together so that we can all like just pour everything we have into
Hmm.
people. Like we're unlocking gifts in other people, helping with Bible studies, helping promote one another, you know, with
Yeah.
the and like us, but with Noah and Colby and like all of them, I think that they're incredible. Noah's got such an amazing gift of worship. So does
Mm.
Austin. Colby has such a gift to speak. So does my dad. Like Ella, just everyone.
Ella, Noel.
Fashion. Carol's amazing at poetry. So
Oh
like just
wow.
how all this would come together. I know God, whether it's like we go on tour and like there's breakout sessions. Okay, this is like where Chosen is gonna go. This is where like the guys are gonna go. Who
Yeah.
really knows? But I do know God is something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so exciting. Yeah. So I guess like has Ella and Noel also been involved much at all too?
Yeah, so I actually have a podcast that comes out every single Monday. I mean, the past couple of weeks have been hard because my grandpa, but
Hmm.
it comes out every single Monday just to like start people's lives off with truth, you know? People
Hmm.
speaks off with truth. And it's usually just based off of like something God's put on my heart or what I'm going through in the current season. And Ella and Noelle, they just absolutely kill it on the podcast with me. Those little girls inspire me every single day. Like their faith is unreal. My
Wow.
little sister, especially like being in high school, like they're firecrackers. I'm gonna tell y'all something.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So I guess as you guys, like as a family, like I know you guys, I was there for one of you guys' Bible studies. Like, what has that looked like having a whole family of people who love the Lord and like are running this race together, and especially having little sisters who like you're watching them as they grow in their faith. What has that been like as well?
It has been so necessary.
Yeah.
Like being in the world that we are in, I cannot emphasize to you guys, whether you're an only child or you have siblings, maybe you're close to them, maybe you aren't. Community is so crucial in reaching the plans God has for your life. I always like to use the analogy the enemy attacks the sheep when it's away from the rest of the herd. You know,
Mhm.
when the enemy knows he can get us isolated, when we're by ourselves, he can attack us. But he's not gonna, the wolf is not gonna attack the sheep when it's with the rest of the crew, you know? And I think
Mhm.
that's just like me with my family. Like when one is weak, the rest are strong. And it's vice versa. Like always, you know, Allie, you don't stand for that. Don't post that. You know what, Allie? I'm gonna pull you up. You're better than that. Like I see where you're going with this. Like there's always that accountability there. And especially in the world that we're in right now when there's so many different opinions and like you really don't know where you stand, you're scared to get canceled on things, you're scared to not get like it's a whole mess. So having that community really
Yeah.
speak your life and really invested and caring about you is 100% crucial if you're ever going to reach the plans God has for you. You know?
Yeah. This is so unique. Like I've literally never observed a family that has the platform that you guys have, but also like holds each other accountable. Like I don't know, most to be real, a lot of influencers I've met, they kind of let it get to their head, but it's been so cool being around you guys, being such a humble group. I've met some others like Sadie Robertson Huff, Jenny Allen, and all of them as well. Like very humble. It's just so cool to
There
see how the Lord's using. Yeah, they're awesome.
Allen,
Have you connected with them?
oh my gosh, Jenny Allen was actually
Yeah.
one. I know Sadie. I think she's so awesome. I look up to her so
Yeah.
much. But Jenny Allen, she is one that will have impacted me forever. Me and Colby
Really?
actually went to this conference. I talk about her on my podcast all the time, and she doesn't even know this, guys. But there was one time me and Colby went to this little conference in Dallas, Texas. And we walk in, and I thought it was going to be this massive conference, right? Because Jenny Allen, she spoke at passion. Like, she's like
Hmm.
so wise. Like, I just really admire her. I walked in. This conference is like tiny, guys, like really small. Colby both looked at each other. We're like, right? Are we in the right place? And Ginny just like poured out her entire heart, like did not care if there was one person
Wow.
in the room, if there was like 10,000 people in the room. And afterwards, this is what really got me because every single conference I've been to, afterwards, the speaker goes off stage and you never see him. But after this conference was over, Ginny Allen got off the stage and talked to every single person in that room. And when she
Dang.
talked to them, it was like I was captivated by her. It was like you were the only thing that mattered in the entire world.
Wow. Yeah.
And I've never experienced my life.
Yeah. It was funny. I saw her behind the scenes at Passion just from a distance, and I knew she was kind of somewhere in the room. And then I, she walked past me. She's like, "Oh, hey, Renji, is Sarah around?" My wife, Sarah. And I was like, "How do you even remember my name?" Like I was just because we met one other time before, and just the fact that she gives such attention to individuals is really, really like it's really encouraging to see believers at that scale and that level of platform who are so Christ-like from the standpoint of they know your name, they care about you, they're not just trying to build this
Right.
sort of whatever fame. They really do care about the individual. But yeah, I know we're kind of about to hit time, but first off, thanks so much, Allie, for taking the time to talk through this stuff. I want to do more of these. This is super fun, and I want to be able to obviously have a chance to share as well on my side. I don't want you just like spilling your guts and then me not sharing anything. So I appreciate
Oh,
you for
I'm
doing this.
super excited for y'all to get to know Renji. He is so incredible and such a blessing to our family and to you guys too. So make sure you guys go follow him. He is a part of our crew. We love him like he lives here, except for he doesn't yet.
Well, I'll be there next week, so I'll see you guys next week.
But and if you follow
Yeah.
Immerse, guys, you're gonna see him on there too. So
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much. I'll
everyone
see you
go
next
give
week,
him
Allie.
a follow.
Thanks
Bye,
so much.
Renji.
See you guys. Bye.